Hey there. Are you there?
I am here.
All right. We're going to have to do a well, first, let's just start the show. Welcome back to Obstacle Discourse with Davis and Chase. I'm Matt B. Davis.
I'm Josh D. Chase. I mean,
Oh,
it is D, but that didn't flow very well. We're not going to do that again.
all right. Good. So before we start talking about OCR, we have to take a quick visit to Tech Corner.
This is how we slowly turn our audience into techno fiends.
So I just want to say that I spend a lot of time sending myself things, right? Like I got to get things from the phone to the laptop and vice versa. AirDrop is great for that in the Mac world. But often with links, I would be emailing those back to each other. Now, through the magic of I think Google is making this happen. I can hit Control C on my laptop and then hit Control V on my phone. It's amazing. What a time saver.
That's not Google. That's still Apple.
That's still Apple? You sure?
That's still Apple. It's called handoff. So anything you know how sometimes for those that aren't seeing the video, Matt just made a rude gesture. Forget it. We'll cut this tech corner short and move right on to
No. I want to know because I thought it had something to do with being signed in with Google on both devices.
No, so for instance, if you open up your email on your phone, on the dock on your Mac, you'll see the little email icon pop up, and you can click that, and it'll pick up right where you left off. So anything you do on your iPhone is essentially mimicked and duplicated on your laptop.
But how new is this Control C, Control V thing for both devices? Because that seems very new to me.
I mean, the actual commands of Control C and Control V have been around for years.
No, well, I'm aware of that.
I can't imagine it's that new. It's got to be at least a couple of years. Handoff's been around for a couple of years. So
okay, well, so
there's another word for it. I forget what it is. Convergence or something like that.
So for the last 2 years, I've been very slowly emailing myself things and then sending it to the person. And
listen, there's a great. I don't normally like BuzzFeed. It was a great list that they did once that was like reasons why millennials are actually good, and they're fine. It's whatever. But one of them is like, for every lazy millennial out there, there's a baby boomer that needs help opening a PDF. So it's like every day at work, I spend not countless hours, but time trying to train people that are doing things immensely wrong in ways to do it far more efficiently. Like people that will open up Internet Explorer and go into the little Bing search bar and type Google to get the link to Google, to then go to the Google website and type Gmail to get into their Gmail. It's just a massive – people do things the way they like to do them, and that's it.
All right. So I've told this story before. It's very quick, but I will tell it again. That once upon a time, people would get me to teach them to program their VCR, right? How does this work? Okay. And then one day – I should have told the story the other way. I wish I edited this. The story would be much better. The story needs work. I'm in my office and I can't figure out how to get songs from my iTunes to my, at the time, MP3 player, right? And I couldn't figure it out. And there was a woman working for me, a young woman, when I had my staffing company, and she did it. And that was the point that I realized, wait a minute, I used to be the guy that people would ask to program their VCR. And now I'm the fucking 35-year-old guy that needs a 22-year-old to teach me how to do things. Enough tech corner. Let's move right into the news. Josh, what were we mostly surprised by this past weekend?
We were mostly surprised that Terrain Race appeared to have, I don't want to say a good race, but a race without controversy or without headlines that are negative or detrimental to one's company's standing.
All right. So I had many people messaging me in the morning, and I was like, all right, it's the morning. That's before the lines start. Like, that's a little too soon. But then I did expect to see later in the day on their pages some complaints about lines or pretty much anything, and there kind of wasn't. I mean, I said this, so to their credit, when people sent me photos of lines, I said, well, listen, on a big day at Rugged or Warrior or even Tough Mudder, we see those lines, right? Because it's that magical time of 1 to 4 where the most people are on the course at the same time. And a lot of times those aren't people who are trying to run fast, and they're kind of happy. They're happy to stand in line and quote unquote catch their breath. So,
Right.
and they seem to have bought some trusts, apparently, maybe from Battle Frog.
Maybe, or maybe from Home Depot, because I think anybody can just walk in and buy those things nowadays. But they definitely had more difficult obstacles than the past. That one rig that we saw, which actually, this is almost innovative. That rig had multiple difficulty lanes, so each lane was a little bit different, which is unheard of in our land. They had a rope Tarzan swing rig that was extremely difficult looking. I don't know if I saw anybody get through it on the live stream. And the monkey bar rig is all but gone. They have disassembled the monkey bars and turned it into like a little balanced walking beam over holes in the ground. They also have eliminated the starting pools, so there is no more start in water, at least in Miami. This is one event. But yeah, no more starting in a pool of freezing cold water, which I think will save them some money on water probably, and who knows what else.
I'm looking at the post by others, right? And it's a lot of, we had a great time. Here's our medal. And I'm not seeing, and usually by this point it would be and as we know, like people complain about a lot of things that maybe they shouldn't even. But,
well, you also have to consider, because I learned this, and I will talk about the one semi-controversial thing. If you try and post something on their page right now, it's all moderated. So any posts have to be approved. So even though you're seeing all great things, it might not have been all great things that were submitted.
So much like the Spartan groups, you mean? Well, wait a minute. Here's one. Okay, here's one from Feb 11th. Terrain Race Miami, looking at some of the hype pictures, they either lied or cheaped out on this race. I was probably one of the few that paid full admission, only to see they were practically giving it away near the race day. Adding salt to the wound, they charged a $5 fee if you don't pick up the packet a day early, and parking was $15. Headbands are extra as well. Oh, there's no timing either. Not sure about this one, but I believe event photos have to be purchased as well. Spartan may be a bit expensive, but well worth it. This event was disappointing. So that's the only one we see. And then a lot of we had fun photos. So you're telling me that if you go to post to their page, it will say being moderated like a group?
So I went to their page and posted because on either Thursday or Friday before the event, an email went out to participants saying, hey, you got to come here Friday and pick up your packet early. If you don't pick up your packet early, we're going to charge you $5 on the day of to pick up your packet, which was not communicated at all beforehand. So I went to the page and I posted and said, are you guys really justified in charging $5 for people when you made no communication about that up until 24 hours ago? And when I hit submit on that, and I don't remember if it was in the event or on their actual page itself. I want to say it was in the event, but I'm not sure.
It must be because I just did it. I just wrote the word test and it popped right up. So
yeah.
And I haven't checked the event, but I won't do that on this call because usually it would mimic, right? If you saw some on here, you would see some on there. So anyway, it looks like people were mostly happy. So
people were mostly happy, and some people paid the $5 to pick up their packet on race day. Others didn't mention it, and apparently the volunteers either didn't ask or didn't care. So I guess they made a little money from the people who were meek and maybe didn't fight it and didn't care if people did. They also charged $15 for parking, which is primo considering parking was on site. So they're getting their cash flow on, I guess.
Still not enough to cover expenses, as we've discussed, and especially if they did in fact purchase 2 full kits, right? 2 full obstacle kits. Those couldn't have been cheap, right? If they bought some nice, well-trust things. So if the goal is we're going full on 2019, we're going to go in the red, and then we're going to flip it and charge 40 or 50 next year, and we're going to keep 10% of those people. Like, if that's the goal, then, but I have to say I did expect collapsing obstacles, and I did expect, horrendous lines at check-in. So maybe they're doing things right.
Yeah, and I got to give them props. They got a nice new medal. The medal's pretty good looking. So, hell, that's half the friggin' battle in our industry. Just have a good medal, and the swarms of people will show up. So
exactly. And I got to say, I thought the starting in the pool of water was kind of innovative, right? Like, people kind of thought, like, oh, this is a cool way to start the race.
Yeah, it's unique, but how much money are you spending on 1,500 gallons of water to only literally dump it out after your racers have started. Maybe do they turn that around and use it as like wash water afterwards?
No, but I mean, they don't dump it out after each wave. I mean, they just refill it.
No, I
Right?
know not after every wave, but even still, you've got 3 huge tubs of water that you do nothing with. It just seems the kids in Africa would be very upset with terrain.
Oh, don't even get me started on that nonsense. Okay. So they will be here very soon, Georgia, that is, and I will go in person to personally check out the festival, the obstacles, and that guy seems surprised. I guess he's not reading emails or checking the updates. Maybe he registered a year ago because he's surprised that there's no timing.
Yeah, and that's a little odd. I mean, they have to sort out the timing thing, or at least clearly communicate what they're doing about the timing. But they've got another event in 48 hours, right? They're going to be in Orlando this weekend, so they have another chance to make it right and continue this role in 2019.
But I'm saying that they're not timing anymore. That was one of the ways they're saving money. But this guy thought he was being timed.
Well, I mean, you go to one of these races, you're under the assumption generally that you're going to get timing. I don't know that they've put it out there and said, we don't time. So they just haven't said anything. So people are under the assumption, and I don't think that's an incorrect assumption, but it's a tough assumption to learn. So,
Okay, are you wearing Gooder shades on your head?
No, I still have my crappy $4 like Walgreens shades because I haven't gotten any Gooder shades.
Was I supposed to send you some?
Feel free. I'll send you my address.
Okay. 63 Nashua Lane or something?
Not even close. Yeah.
Do you live in Nashua?
No.
Do you live in Manchester?
Hudson, which is right next to Nashua.
Okay.
I'm in a bordering town of Nashua, New Hampshire.
Manchester's right over the border, isn't it?
No, Manchester's like 25 minutes away.
Do you pay no taxes?
I pay no sales tax, so that's nice.
Right. What about income tax? If you work in Massachusetts and you live in New Hampshire, how does that work?
I just paid $100 some odd to Massachusetts because I don't know. My office of note is in Massachusetts, whereas my residency is in New Hampshire, which is a tax nightmare. Apparently, it's not a nightmare. TurboTax just tells me I have to pay money, and I pay money. So,
okay. Do you think we should start Tax Corner?
Please, God, no.
All right,
I will bring up conversations that I do not want to have.
Okay, what do we want to talk about next, Josh?
All right, so speaking of being on a roll for 2019, how about VJ Jones single-handedly dominating the entire Spartan field in all 4 races that he's partaken in?
Yeah, man. He's young and spry, and obviously the first real test is coming in Jacksonville, which you and I will both be at.
We will all be. I feel like the world is going to be at this Jacksonville race.
It kind of feels like Tahoe, right? Because it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, have we ever had this much hype at the beginning of a year before? At the beginning of the season?
I don't think we have. It was a serious hype off season for everybody. There was not. I think the off season now is where you market yourselves, and the off season is where you generate demand for your product. So companies were reinventing their medals. They were, Spartans talking about new obstacles, which is something they don't do. They got the Sweden announcement. You got Mike Morris reporting live from, and we said it totally wrong. What is it? Aura, Sweden. So the off season hype machine has to be in full effect for you to make sure that come race day, you get people showing up, because people are like, they gotta spend their money wisely, and they gotta spend their time wisely.
Well, this is an interesting question. I'd be curious if we had the rest of our sort of little roundtable that we, our OCR podcaster bros and sisses, because there usually is a lot of announcements. Like last year, Mutter had the most announcements, but I don't know what makes it so exciting this time around. That, I mean, it's earlier. It's usually not till March, April that we get the first race. We get the first points race of the year. But I don't know, maybe with Mutter going away with their prize money, I don't know. It definitely feels like exciting.
Well, it also, they did it better this year because there was a real lull in the OCR season in the past years. And I think that's bad for the organizations and the industry. So the more you can deliver on that hype machine, the more you get people thinking about it. And there's been a ton of good sales and a ton of good promos out there for people to get everybody signing up. So I think it's kind of the perfect storm of the industry is changing, right? One company is on an upward trajectory, and other companies maybe on the downward a little bit. And people are psyched up. I mean, we saw great competitive events last year. We had more ways than ever to watch competitive events on live streams and on TV. And I think people like that stuff, and they expect it now from the companies. So I was a little upset we didn't get a live stream on Instagram of the Arizona race last weekend. Like after Chino's live stream that Mark Batres did, I was like, this is great. I'll watch a race every weekend like this.
I didn't see it. Did Batres follow people around?
Yeah, he was on the 4x4 with, I think Anthony was there taking photographs, and they had a driver, and he was actually traveling with the top racers and giving us a play-by-play the whole time. It was great.
So why didn't I hear more about this? So this was rather than the like official with announcers, it was just holding the phone.
Yep.
Which I've done I've done that with Savage before, right? Just held my phone and did it. But I did it through my own stream. This was through Spartan, not Mark's personal thing.
Yeah, it was Spartan Race's account on Instagram. It was like what I did at NORAM for you. It was like running around to the obstacles. Like, all right, we're going over here. And this
interesting why they chose that over FB though.
Well, I mean, FB obviously requires a full setup, right? You got to bring the whole audio video kit, whereas Instagram requires this. So,
but you could do Facebook through your phone too. Maybe they just don't want to confuse that audience. Like, hey, this isn't a real Facebook Live. Like, Facebook Live means we spend money. IG means we're fucking around.
Right, and Facebook Live, they have the whole segregated Spartan Live Facebook page, and it's. Right. Facebook's gotten really, really segmented, I think, which is a problem.
Right.
So Instagram's easy, right? I open it up. Oh, I see the Spartan Race is live. Boom, I click in, and hey, there's Mark Batres doing live play-by-play. So I thought that was really cool. I liked it.
Well, a little behind the scenes, when I was on the TM team, I wanted to say last year, but it really was 2017 when we did those 5 big races. We did the tougher series. And I was like, hey, you guys – these 4-hour things are great, but what Spartan's doing is they're then taking that 4 hours, editing it to an hour, making it a watchable, consumable product. Maybe we could do that. And, my producer guy was like, yeah, I totally get it. And they're not going to spend the money because somebody does have to, little tech corner, rip all that, takes forever, watch it, do it. And Facebook is all about live, like Facebook Watch. Let's put out live stuff, blah, blah, blah. So a year later, right, we're not doing live, and we made 6 short videos for World's Toughest Mudder, which were cool and people and people certainly watch afterwards. But when you've gone from 72 hours of live coverage to here's some 6-minute bites, right?
Right.
But I'm saying that Facebook was pushing that. The deal was through Facebook, and Facebook was saying, we want to show people you can do this. And then a year later, they were like, nah, not so important to us anymore. We're going to put more money into this.
I mean, for me, and again, leaning back onto Tech Corner a little bit, when I watch this stuff, I want to watch it in good quality. And that's the biggest issue is the quality sucks on live streams. And you can do one of two things. You can try and get up close and get good quality, but you can't really do that at Spartan because of the movement. Or you can pull way back and get drone shots, which is useless because, hey, I'm looking at 2 ants running down a bloody trail. So it's a tough balance. I enjoyed watching it on Instagram, and I think the commentary helped with that. So I guess that's the balance, right? I'll sacrifice quality if I have good quality commentary and somebody kind of talking me through what's happening. And the hop from obstacles to obstacles was really well planned. So if they do more of that, that'll be great. I fully expect Jacksonville to be a full live experience, obviously.
Right.
But I won't care in Jacksonville because I'll be running and just heaving and throwing up all over that place, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I'm going to run – I always say I'm going to run in the afternoon or on Sunday, and then I don't because I'm working. But I really do want to. I want to because I want to experience the new obstacles. I want to because I like doing it. Did I show you my fancy camera that I'm all excited about?
You did. I saw this. This is big time.
Right. And so again, it's like, to do a little, inside baseball here for the audience. it's like, so in Tahoe, for example, I did get on a vehicle because we were like, hey, can I get on a vehicle? I want to,
Yeah.
and I did get on a vehicle on Saturday for Tahoe, but it ended up being just the women because all the other vehicles were going places. And then it was like, well, what am I really doing? Okay, if everybody's watching the Spartan stream, I should do something else, right? So
Right.
I've got it. Why don't I just go hardcore on finish line interviews because I do that better than anybody. Sorry, whoever else does that. But right, like go in. Why are you smiling so much? Like
I feel like that might have been a little jab.
Heather Bodie, I love you. You're great at it. You've gotten certainly better at it. Mike Stefano, you're great at it. But I feel like that's my lane, right?
All right.
So there, I said it. Gauntlet thrown, boom, whatever, right? We're friends with all these people.
Bro.
But I'm saying, like, since I can't do all things, right? I don't have a team of 7, right? So same thing with now the USNS. What's the easy thing we're gonna call it?
I don't like the national series.
Right.
So
for the national series, am I gonna run around and try to be? That doesn't make sense. If they're already spending good money on that, I'm gonna need to do other content. So maybe it's not just finish line interviews. Maybe it's some stuff the day before, and what can I do different to get some eyes my way? But I'm like super excited because I want to do all those things, right?
Yeah, and I think they should. I think the day before is a good piece to kind of cash in on. So one of the things that I loved in 2018 that Spartan did was that Elite House live stream they did. Remember that? So Kevin Donahue kind of monopolized it because he loves to talk. I love you, bro. But
talk about throwing shade. Look at you.
I mean, he's going to admit it too. So one of the things I loved was like that just conversational piece. Like here's a round table gathering, and not the staged Spartans sitting around a fire having a conversation like they did in the TV show, but just like get in there and get them talking. They've got some good personalities, and I think people are interested in that. People want to hear kind of the human side of these people that they sort of look up to and follow on Instagram. So the everyday stuff I think is great. So if they could organize something beforehand, even if it's, I don't want to say like the Tahoe like media day that you guys did when you were out there, but maybe do a makeshift like press thing. Like give us exposure to the athletes, or give us give the podcasters a chance to go and get a soundbite from them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like the pre-race Tahoe thing is always pretty boring, and I think that there's a lot of like pre-whatever questions, and it's very sort of Spartan monopolized.
Yeah.
And I think that, and I just think it's just, I don't know. I think you put people on a table and it's boring. And I think, it's too staged, right? So I think you're right. I think if they did it, and again, like, I think that should be my job, but we don't want to make it all like, oh, it would be good if Matt did it and it would suck otherwise, because I don't think that's necessarily true. But don't, when they have like the Spartan MC, like, or whoever, it tends to lean boring. But no, I think you're right. I think they should get that feedback. That would be great. People just want access to the athletes, and not just ask like, hey, what shoes are you going to wear for this one?
Right. And like, look at like a hockey game afterwards, right? The players are in the locker room, there's media availability, and it doesn't have to be like 2 hours, but just give a chance for the media to come in and say, how'd you feel about that tire flip or whatever it is. Just get some sound bites for, whatever we do for work, essentially.
Right. You know what else? What's coming up next? What we need? We need mic'd up.
Mic'd up would be pretty dope.
Mic'd
up would be pretty dope.
I just watched Mic'd Up, the Super Bowl, right?
It was amazing.
Right?
I wonder if Julian Edelman hams it up when he's mic'd. Do you think he hams it up? Because here's the reason I say that. So in 2017, when they played Atlanta, Julian Edelman walks over to Tom Brady, and the big storyline was Tom Brady's mom was there. She was sick, blah, blah, blah. And one thing that kind of bugged me a little bit. God, we're talking about football again.
Sorry, guys.
Julian Edelman comes over to Tom Brady, and he's like, for your mom, bro, for your mom. And I was like, come on, you're telling me that's not a mic'd up moment? Like, I don't know that Julian Edelman runs over to those guys and does that. Maybe he does, and he's a character guy, and he's amazing, but I don't know.
I think in 1982, when one guy was mic'd, because that's all they could do, but now they mic, I think, everybody? Or like anybody who's any kind of
pretty much everybody, yeah.
Position player. So, like that guy hyping himself up, right? Which,
yeah,
I don't know if they were like kind of clowning on him because like knowing they lose, it's kind of lame, right? Though, who was the guy that was talking himself up the whole first 10 minutes of that show?
Yeah. Was it Anderson? I don't know if it's CJ. Yeah.
Come on. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. Come. I think that's just that's his prep, right? I wanted to hear more Tom, right? Because I think he's animated and excited, and I don't know, maybe it's in their contract to not show him as much, but I wanted to hear, Tom say the things that he does.
I wonder if we could figure out a way to mic up. I'll try and mic up in Jacksonville and see. I'm gonna have to Google some solutions for this. I'm gonna have to get deep into Tech Corner and see what I can find.
You're gonna mic up yourself?
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna I'll have to test it on myself first. Granted, all you hear is I'll be 10 minutes of that. Not a good way, just heaving across the Florida coastline.
All right, are you racing this weekend? Let's wrap it up. Are you racing this weekend?
I'm not racing this weekend. I'm heading up to the White Mountains in New Hampshire to do some cross-country skiing and snowshoeing and all kinds of other stuff in preparation for our trip to Jacksonville.
Have you purchased anything for Valentine's Day?
I have not purchased anything for Valentine's Day.
Will your girlfriend listen to this show?
Probably not.
Okay,
100% not, unless I turn it on.
All right, then let's talk about it. Okay, my wife won't either, and I've got to buy some stuff today.
So let me get this straight. Some people that are in contact with her may listen to this show, so it might get back to her.
Nobody on this who listens to this show that's close enough.
Clearly, nobody.
Well, the people that listen.
No, people that are close to my significant other.
Oh, right. That's a lot more possible. That is a lot more possible. Okay, well, be good. Listen, OCR audience, be good. Don't fuck up Josh's life, right? Like,
don't be terrible people.
Don't be terrible people. Well, we discussed this the other day on our little chat. We said, what's the order of big to small gift you get, birthday, Valentine, Christmas,
right.
My wife just wants to see some effort. My wife just wants, you got to do something, right? So it's a flower, a card, or both, but I don't got to go nuts. I don't have to buy out the flower shop, but I've got to show that I thought about her on this day. Josh is now silent because he realizes how many people he knows also know his girlfriend. Okay.
I have a far different stance on Valentine's Day. I feel like Valentine's Day is for courting an individual. Yeah, I just use that word.
Listen, I'm with you. I do think that it is much better. And my wife is definitely not the kind that's like, what are you going to get me? But again, it's at this point of the day, I do have to show some effort. I did think of something because, right?
Here's the thing. So why is it, all right, I'm going to take a societal stance here. So why is it, this is a great way to end the show.
Hot take.
Why is it that it's all on the guys and the only thing that the women have to do is accept these gifts and be like, all right, well, I guess, all right, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to leave my statement.
Why do I have to pay for the first date? Why do I whatever? That's life.
So in today's day and age, you don't. It is fully expected that the first date is Dutch. Back in our day, you and me, when we were young bloods, it was on us. The movies were on us. But also everything cost $7 back then, where now it's $94 to go get a slice of avocado toast and a smoothie. So
I'm going to tell you a little Mappy Davis secret, okay? First date was always coffee, right? Because you don't know how it's going to go.
Right. You need an easy out.
You want an easy out. You want to make it inexpensive, right? Daytime, right? Let's feel it out. Okay, we like each other. Now I'll maybe go to dinner, right?
Right. But here's the thing. Why does the first date have to be on you? Because you know what? Every other date is going to be on you. So shouldn't the first date be on her?
This show has to end. This is where I cut to the newsy music.
Yep.
All right, hang on, let me stop.